It's your girl Toyzilla, back for another episode of Toyzilla's Book Club. Yes. Alright, we are continuing the Looking Glass War series. It's a trilogy series. The book is by Frank Banner, and it's a faction fairy tale about Alice in Wonderland. This is the true story of what really went down. Alright, so we're going to be starting on chapter 37 and read 38 and 39. If you aren't caught up till now, you can find all the other chapters that we've read together before on our YouTube page. Remember, search for Toyzilla01. Now just search for Toyzilla and look for that bear bot symbol. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it looks like. Oh, I guess I should mention some social media, keeping those updated. Remember to go on our Facebook page and like Toyzilla. Our YouTube, don't forget to subscribe if you like the video. Leave us a like, let me know what I'm doing right or wrong. We got the Instagram to let y'all know when we're streaming for the video game portions of our fun nights. And Twitter as well. Just all searching under Toyzilla, okay? Am I forgetting anything else? I don't think so. But yes. Oh, if you guys are reading along and you feel the artsy bug getting in up under your skin, please draw some pictures of what is happening. I want to see what the world looks like through your eyes. Alright, now let's go ahead and get started. I'm so excited to see what happens next. Alright. Chapter 37. Dodge hadn't told her that they'd be leaving for the forest. That they'd be leaving the forest. They should have informed somebody. Bidwit, the general, Hatter. We should have told them we were going. That's what the old Dodge would have done. The 10-year-old Dodge Anders, who had prided himself on strict adherence to military procedures and the importance of communication among members of a fighting force. But a lot about the adult Dodge was unlike the child. But a lot about the adult Dodge was unlike the child Alice used to know. He kept in front of her, moving at a rapid pace, and she often had to trot just to stay in sight of him. He turned around every now and again to make sure she was still following him. But really, he could have been more considerate. Wouldn't hurt him to slow down a little. They came to the edge of a shabby city, the one she had already passed through this day. The pawn shops and military checkpoints, the ear clutter of recorded voices declaring better red than dead, and the red way is the right way. The barrage of gaudy, flickering advertisements for products and places Alice had never heard of. I can hardly... Is it really my once gleaming city? The only landmark she recognized was the Aplu Theater, where she'd seen performances by the Merry Pretenders, an acting troupe favored by her parents. It was boarded up and had been left to rot. The few Wonderlanders she saw pass through the city like shadows, flitting and ashamed. Dodge was waiting for her up ahead. About time he showed some consideration. But when she stepped up beside him, she found that it wasn't manners that had made him stop and wait for her. That is your home, said Dodge. Red left it standing to show how far the hearts and white imagination have fallen. She grew dizzy, looking at the ruins of Heart Palace, her mind suddenly aswirl with memories. Where Father and I used to play tag in the halls, and he could always catch me by making me laugh. The letters of my name spelled Alon or Ono or Lonan when shuffled around, he'd say. And laughing, I'd say, but those aren't words. And he'd know where I was from hearing my voice, and he'd tag me, saying, why, Alice, I never claimed they'd spell actual words. And where there were all sorts of nooks perfect for spying on him and Mother. And I saw him massage the nape of her neck as she sat on her throne, she lifting her face to his for a kiss. Can we go inside? If we're careful. The grounds appeared deserted. No Wonderlanders looting the place, hurrying past with goblets and cutlery in their fists, because there was nothing left to take. But Dodge unsheathed his sword all the same, and he guided Alice carefully to the palace entrance, keeping his voice to a whisper. The poor and desperate sometimes live here for a while. Okay, I'm gonna rewrite. I'm gonna reread that. Okay. The the poor and desperate sometimes live here for a while, until they die from imagination stimulant addiction or red sends them to the crystal mines. Entering through the broken front gate. Wow, my reading skills are just. Let me take a moment, y'all. Alright, let's continue. Entering through the broken front gate, Dodge's heart pumped as quickly as if he were in battle. He hadn't personally set foot in the palace since the day he and the Rook buried his father. Hadn't wanted to return, afraid of what he might feel. He held his face turned away from Alice, wrestling with emotions he was no longer used to experiencing. Inside, the once great halls were scarred with obscenities, and what little that had remained of furniture and decorations lay in charred piles throughout, evidently used as fuel for fires. It's empty because people stole things, Dodge said, right after, that day. Alice reached out, ran a hand along the cold stone walls. It's not empty, she said. The place was full of the past. It had been in one of the halls. Here is where I imagine the floor covered in squig berries, and the walrus slipped on them and dropped the tea platter and squashed the berries, rolling in them and turning himself squig color. In the anteroom of her mother's throne room. Here's where I used to charge toll to the servants, not letting them pass unless they gave me a treat of jolly jellies or tarty tarts. Skeletons of card soldiers and chessmen littered the dusty hall approaching the south dining room. Many more skeletons were in the dining room itself. The air tasted as if it hadn't been breathed by the living in more than a decade. The walls were pockmarked from Red's attack, but no weapons were anywhere to be seen. Silent tears coursed down Alice's cheeks. She turned to see if Dodge was crying, feeling the sorrowful weight of the scene, but it was difficult to tell in the dimness of the room. Your father? She whispered. He's buried in the garden. Dodge's voice sounded choked. He was taking deep, even breaths in an effort to remain calm. Anger birthed from grief. He wanted to punch something. He wanted to make someone feel the pain and loss he felt standing in this place. Alice bent down and picked up off the floor a triangular-shaped, weathered chip piece of bone. It hung on a bit of chain. Do you remember this? He wasn't sure. It couldn't be. You gave it to me. I said I would keep it forever. The Jabberwock tooth, the one he had given to her as a birthday present. She unclasped the necklace and secured it around her neck. The tooth hung at her throat. I never thanked you for saving my life, so thank you. He winced, as if thanks physically hurt him. Dodge, I know it's hard seeing each other after all this time. So much has happened. We've both grown into adults we never imagined becoming. But I would have expected a friendlier reception from you, of all people. I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, we were friends. Dodge. We were more than friends. Wasn't that why you came for me in the other world? To defeat Red, to face the cat, I would do anything. Annoyed, Alice clicked her tongue. Is that why you danced with me at the masquerade? Was that to defeat Red too? Did you do that for the cat? Dodge didn't answer. Alice turned from him and examined her reflection in a sliver of looking glass, the only fragment left in the frame of the large decorative mirror that had once hung on the east wall. If you no longer care for me, why did you bring me here? I never said I don't care for you. But Dodge didn't trust himself to say more. He held his tongue, began again. I brought you here to remind your heart of what Red's done, to spark your vengeance. You're the agent by which I'll have my revenge. That's what you mean to me now. That's all you must mean. Touching. Her fingers toyed with the Jabberwock tooth at her throat. Take it off. Take it off and show take it off. Take it off and show that if it means nothing to him, it means nothing to... Her reflection in the looking glass suddenly rippled and morphed into an image of Red. So glad you could visit us. Now off with your head! Dodge snatched Alice's hand and pulled her away as the glass broke into sharp, piercing pieces, tiny daggers meant for the princess. The floor shook beneath them, the wall shivered, and the thick ceiling beams creaked and cracked, and mortar dust and skull-sized stones began to fall. They ran, each with an arm over their head to protect themselves from falling debris. They hurtled, smashed wall stones, and ducked fallen beams as the old palace collapsed around them, sending stinging pellets of rock into the backs of their legs. They barely managed to make it outside to safety. Alice stood bent over, coughing from dust and wiping her mouth. Where Heart Palace had stood only moments before, a pile of rubble. She's destroyed everything, Dodge said. Resignation to the past, defiance of the present, hope for the future. Alice felt them all at once. Not everything, she said. Not if she had hope. Chapter 38. Chapter 38. Something was wrong in the everlasting forest. Tuttle birds were shrieking, jabbering, making a din. In a moment the problem became clear. Trees and shrubs had been hacked, clubbed, chopped, cracked in half, or ripped from the soil. Flowers lay stamped into the ground, silent. What foliage happened to still be alive warned, "Don't enter, don't enter." An unfamiliar sound filled the forest, a steady mechanical beat. Endless columns of glass eyes marching toward the Allison headquarters. The bodies of Allison guards were scattered pell-mell on the ground, the looking glasses that had once camouflaged the headquarters smashed, some cracked and left half standing, others completely destroyed. Bibwood and the others, Alice breathed. She took a step forward, but Dodge grabbed her arm and stopping her. We can't go any closer. It's too dangerous. They were already too close. A glass eye shot clear of a nearby thicket, deadly blade sticking forward from the back of its hands, and flew at Alice. Dodge tackled her. Missing its target, the glass eye smashed headfirst into a dead tree, but more of its kind were already upon them. Dodge fought with a sword in each hand. Alice focused her energy on imagining the glass eyes. What? Dead? Forever? Inactivated? Can they be killed like ordinary Wonderlanders? Concentrate. Concentrate. She focused on Dodge, imagining him with increased strength and skill, but the glass eyes had been engineered for this sort of combat. Dodge was overpowered. A few moments more and he wouldn't be able to protect himself, let alone her. A weapon. I need a weapon. Alice crawled to the glass eye lying motionless in the shadow of tree bark. Must be a weapon on it somewhere. She reached for the avocado-like object hanging from its belt. A whip snake grenade, one of Red's newest inventions. She pulled the ring at the top of the grenade, threw it at the glass eyes, and it blew open, releasing a nest of snake-like coils, alive with electricity and whipping through the air. Dodge dropped to the ground and rolled. Swat! A coil whipped at Glass Eye's cheek, short-circuiting it. Swap, swap, swap! The Glass Eyes fell. Dodge and Alice were up and running before the coils of grenade lost their power and sizzled on the forest floor. A fresh pack of Glass Eyes stepped free of their marching column and darted around smoldering tree trunks and broken low-hanging branches after them. The rapid thunder of their approach. Dodge raised the sword to strike, was bringing it forward with all the strength left in him when, out of the surrounding foliage, burst, not the Glass Eyes, but Generals Doppel and Ganger on galloping Spirit Danes. Dodge tried to check his swing. Too late. General Doppel instinctively raised his sword in defense, and it clanged with dodges. "Dodge!" cried General Doppel. "Alice!" exclaimed General Ganger. The White Knight, the Rook, and a platoon of pawns hustled up behind them. "We've been casing the perimeter in hopes of finding the princess," the Rook explained to Dodge, "though we feared the worst." The Glass Eyes converged, and Dodge and the chessmen lost themselves in the urgency of battle. The generals took up positions at Alice's flanks, their Spirit Danes affording her momentary protection. "Concentrate, Alice." "Imagine." With a war cry that sounded like rippling metal, a Glass Eye knocked aside the pawns and sprinted toward her. But General Doppel, leaping from his Spirit Dane onto General Ganger, shot a cannonball spider at it. On impact, the oversized spider bit an unhealthy glob of synthetic flesh off the assassin and chopped at its vital circuitry. Spooked! The riderless Spirit Dane reared and took off. Dodge, entangled with a Glass Eye, kicked it in the groin. The Glass Eye looked down, confused, because it didn't have anything sensitive in that area. The assassin's confusion lasted only half a moment, but it was enough time for Dodge to reach out and grab the reins of the frightened Spirit Dane as it hurtled past. The animal ran, dragging him alongside until he managed to climb onto its back. "Princess, catch!" Alice turned, caught the weapon tossed to her by the White Knight in the hand of Timon, 5 short sword blades rising from the handle grip. She raised it as the Glass Eye leaped toward her. One of the blades lodged into the assassin's left ocular opening and stuck there. The Glass Eye fell to the ground and, as the Rook finished it off, Dodge galloped over on the Spirit Dane and lifted Alice up behind him into the saddle. "Go!" the Rook shouted. "We'll hold them off! Again!" Even with the fighting raging all around, Dodge had to smile. Again. A little joke among battle-scarred warriors. Generals Doppel and Ganger merged into one as they spurred their animal away from the fight. The Spirit Dane carrying Dodge and Alice galloped alongside. "Hatter and Bibwood have gone ahead to clear the emergency portal," General Doppelganger panted. But no matter how fast they traveled, their escape would be as fleeting as a wisp of smoke in a fog. More Glass Eyes were already after them. Chapter 39. Theoretically, it was possible for inexperienced Continuum travelers to discover the rebels' emergency portal. They could have been inadvertently reflected out of it. But the portal was connected to the Continuum by such an unlikely arrangement of crystal byways, courtesy of strategically placed looking glasses, that no traveler who wasn't Allison had ever determined its location or even learned of its existence. Hatter Madigan and Bibwood Hart hurried to clear the dried brush from the portal entrance. A thick, ancient-looking glass with beveled edges located in part of the forest, rarely frequented by Wonderlanders. Hatter pressed his face through the glass, peering into the Continuum, and pulled it out as General Doppelganger, Dodge, and Alice raced up their Spirit Danes. "It's clear," Hatter said. I'll go first, Dodge said, and without another word, he jumped into the glass. Be quick, Bibwood said, his ears trembling. I hear our enemies approaching. The tutor guided Alice through the portal's liquid crystal surface and into the continuum. Whew. Gotta remember to blink. For a moment, wide-eyed and entranced by the beauty of the luminous surfaces surrounding her, she navigated it as well as anyone, zooming through the kaleidoscope lifeline at pace with Dodge and the others. But as soon as she realized that she'd only been in the continuum once before, whoa! She lost control, floated up and back, bumping into General Doppelganger. Focus your will and think heavy thoughts, shouted the general, or you will be reflected out. Heavy thoughts? What are... The general let go of her. Uh-oh. Again, Alice lost speed. Would have been sucked up and out of the continuum if Hatter hadn't caught hold of her. With the princess in tow, he steered his body toward Bibwood. Hold on to him, the milliner instructed. So she did, traveling through the continuum piggyback. Glass eyes. Incoming. Without slowing, Hatter flicked his top hat. It morphed into deadly spinning blades, and he flung them at the glass eyes, racing up fast at his back. The blades cut into one after another, ricocheting among them, then returned to him. Still the glass eyes closed in. Firing orb generators had deflected them into crystal byways by spinning his top hat blades so quickly that the force of their wind sent the orbs reeling. If he'd been alone, he would have reversed directions and attacked the glass eyes, but his duty required him to stay close to Alice. He would have to fight them nearer to her than he liked. He slowed his pace. The saber blades of his belt snapped open, and he twirled, letting the glass eyes come at him. Sliced and battered by his sabers, they became disoriented. Unable to maintain their equilibrium inside the continuum, they were sucked from its main artery and reflected out of the looking glasses. More coming! Dodge shouted from in front of them this time. Out of the way! Warned General Doppelganger. Dodge steered his body to the continuum's edge, and the general shot a cannonball spider at the attacking glass eyes. Mid-shot, the cannonball cracked open and the emerging spider lashed onto the entire pack, holding each of them fast with a sticky leg while its pincer mouth pecked at them in rapid fire, reducing them to lifeless husks. Shoosh! They were reflected out of the continuum. The cannonball spider now came careening up fast toward the Allisons. Dodge threw himself at it to prevent it from targeting Alice. The spider held Dodge's arms and legs, and though it wasn't designed to live long, would soon fold in on itself and die. It had time enough to end Dodge's life. Wait, come again, say what? The spider held Dodge's arms and legs, and though it wasn't designed to live long, would soon fold into itself and die. It had time enough to end Dodge's life. Oh my god, I thought I read it wrong. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that, y'all. Its pincers opened and moved in toward Dodge's stomach. Concentrate, think, imagine. A muzzle formed out of nowhere, a rust-colored contraption that covered the spider's pincers, rounding their pointed ends. Ha! Alice shouted, ecstatic. Frenzied, the spider tried to shake the foreign object from its mouth. Dodge managed to free an arm and, with a single wide circular swipe of his sword, chopped off the spider's legs and punched the weapon into its vitals. Did you see that? Alice cried, holding on to her tutor's back. I imagined that. I saw it, said Bibwood Hart. Very impressive. But it would have been a whole lot more impressive, thought the tutor, if Alice had conjured a happy end to this nightmare. Glass eyes were again coming at them, simultaneously closing in on them from in front and behind, and General Doppelganger was out of cannonball spiders. Whew! That's the end of chapter 39, y'all. Oh my god. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Whew. Sorry about having to reread that last part, y'all. I didn't think I read it correctly. It was like, oh my gosh, did y'all just say that Dodge died? I was about to be beside myself. Don't let him die. Oh my gosh. Whew. Ah, but good thing Alice is slowly getting her memory back on how to imagine things that are quite helpful indeed. All right, y'all. Today is, what is today? Today is Wednesday, October 14th. So don't forget, we do our streams Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, starting at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when we go ahead and start our video games. And then after that, around 10 o'clock or so, we start up our book club. About 2-3 chapters at a time, depending on how long each one of them are. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And hey, Autumn, so good you could join us for the end. I was just letting everybody know what everything was going. What was I letting everybody know? Oh yes, streaming schedule. Again, we do book club after we play and have our fun doing video games. Cause you can't just always play games. You gotta get some reading in there too. Remember, there's always other forms of entertainment. Thank you. My schedule. Yes. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for now. We may be adding another day. Because I don't know. Are we streaming too little? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll let you guys know. You were just lurking the whole time? Well, thank you. I hope you enjoying book club so far and that you got to go back and read the other chapters if you haven't. I don't just want you to, be lost and I'm just giving away all these spoilers. But I do thank you for coming on. Until next time, everybody. Y'all know what the saying is. If you like what you see, you turn down your PC and viewed it. Book club is great. And I'm glad y'all like it. Right? And thank you so much for your support. You always make me so happy. I'm catching more of your streams as well when I see them on. So sorry if I be just barely catching them before mine. I'm in there. I'm in there. But till next time, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Goodbye. Toyzilla is out.